this is Tom from Dirk Witte Music Store in Utrecht, the Netherlands, and today we are taking a look at a really cool custom shop Fender Stratocaster in a really cool color slash finish that we don't see all that often, but I'm really digging it. It is a really cool faded shell pink. In 1959, Journeyman Relic Stratocaster from the Fender Custom Shop in a really stunning shell pink finish. From 2025, so came in used, but it is, yeah, to our knowledge, like it is mint, as in that yes, it is relic, so there's pretty much no way to like confirm if this thing is from the factory or not. But when it comes to like the playing or like the playability and how good the frets are, and also the age, like it is just in a perfect condition for what it is. So a really cool Fender Stratocaster. Yeah, and it's quite a cool color. Let's dive into the specs. So this is then based on the 1959 Fender Stratocaster. So think then that the fingerboard is a slab rosewood, and you got also a type of a specific neck profile that's like closely associated to 1959. But you also got one spec that is like a little bit more modern, but we will get to that in a little bit, or even like a couple technically. Let's just go into the specs. So we've got an alder body, again in this really stunning faded shell pink finish, this Journeyman Relic shell pink finish. It's kind of like lightly aged, I would say, or medium aged, because you do got nicks and dings pretty much all over, and also some really nice finish checking. So it really does look to be quite old, but it is not. But it also just then feels really nice. But it is nothing crazy, so no like half of the finish being worn off, anything like that. So it's really nicely done, very tastefully done. Moving on to the controls and the hardware, like the pickups. Obviously it is a very traditional layout when it comes to the controls and to the pickups, and pretty much to a lot of the specs. But first off, the pickups are some Fender Custom Shop hand wound Fat 50s pickups. Middle one being reverse wired reverse polarity, so that then combats the 60 cycle hum a little bit. So that is a nice bonus for those playing live at loud volumes. They sound really great, very vintagey, quite mid-range I would say, but this also then having a rosewood board, it doesn't sound like overly bright, like some maple board guitars sometimes can lean towards, I would say, especially in the bridge position. So yeah, so all in all, just sounds really great. Also got this very cool mint green guard, pick guard, which you began seeing in 1959, or maybe even late 1958. Because like prior to that, you just had the single ply white pick guards, but at this time they then went over to this, yeah, this mint green color, which looks really cool, and also looks very old school, very vintagey. It is a multiply material, so you can see like 3 layers. Then in between you've got a black layer. The vibrato system, which is then also like a very vintage style type of a tremolo system. So obviously from the Fender Custom Shop, so really of the highest quality, but you've got just your vintage style bent steel saddles, your 6-screw type of a construction, and then obviously a back cavity with your springs and your claw, as well as your trem block and all of that stuff. So yeah, works really nice. Trem arm is obviously also then included in the case. The controls are also a little bit more modern, but nothing special. So you've got a 5-way pickup selector switch, so that you can also get the in-between tones, which you would not get on like a vintage wired one, because then you'd only get like 3 configurations. Massive arm control, and then this tone controller is for your neck and your middle pickup, and then this tone controller is for your bridge pickup. So that's also nice that you do get a tone control for your bridge pickup. Just gives you a little bit more control, and for just really kind of like get you a little bit more control and more tonal versatility. Object over here on the front as well. Move on to the neck. That is then a maple neck. Thinking that this is a quarter sawn maple neck. Yeah, it is a quarter sawn maple neck with a 9059 profile, obviously then, which is described as a D shape, which, yeah, in a way, I would say like in between a C and a D. So it's still nicely rounded, but does get a little bit flat on the back, but not in a very pronounced way. So it's still nicely rounded and just really easy to get around, but you then do get a little bit shoulder that you would associate with a D-shaped neck. Obviously it's then also relic, so it's very smooth here on the back. Feels really, really nice. It is also not that thick. It's really kind of like medium size. So yeah, it actually doesn't stray all that much away from like a modern C profile, apart from it being just a little bit more D-shaped. But when it comes to the size, it is pretty medium, maybe a tad larger, but yeah, again, nothing crazy. The fingerboard, rosewood fingerboard, really dark rosewood fingerboards, almost as dark as ebony, I would say, but it is rosewood. And it is then also a slab rosewood board, so that's also late 1950s in style. So if you look over there at the end of the neck here, you can see a quite thick piece of rosewood that then is the fretboard. In later years they would go and switch over to the laminated rosewood fingerboards, but that is then in a later period of Fender. So that's quite cool that you then have that on this. What's also quite cool is that this is also one of those a little bit more modern style of like features. This has a 9.5-inch radius. So that is, in my opinion, a big plus. Makes it just more bend friendly without your notes dying out when you go like one note or higher with your bend. So that is, yeah, really nice. As well as the frets, there's also a little bit more modern style. These are the narrow, tall frets, 6105, like Dunlop 6105 size. So kind of just medium size frets, nothing crazy, but definitely more modern player friendly. The nuts, really nicely cut nut. Not quite sure what material that is, probably bone, but also has a little bit of aging done to it. And then your headstock. Very classic look, obviously, with your decal, single string tree, then on the back your vintage style tuners. Also comes with its original hardshell case, all of your case candy like COA with like your spec sheets and strap. Let's see if there's anything else in there that's worth mentioning. Obviously then also your trem arm, like I said, and yeah, everything that you would expect pretty much from like a new Fender custom shop guitar. Like it's just a total package, so that is really nice to see. So yeah, really cool Strat. Obviously from the Fender custom shop, so it's really kind of like of the highest tier, highest grade. Yeah, I'm really digging this shell pink color paired with that mint green guard. That looks really, really killer. And it also plays and sounds really, really great. So let's move on to that part and let's actually hear about what it sounds like. But first, if you're interested in this Fender custom shop 1959 Stratocaster in a really nice looking Journeyman relic shell pink finish, be sure to head over to the links in the description for further details. If you enjoyed this demo, be sure to like the video and to subscribe to the channel for more cool weekly demos of very cool electric guitars like these. Cool acoustic guitars, bass guitars even, of that really cool stuff. Also be sure to like us and follow us on our socials, Instagram and Facebook. Links are also in the description. With all that being said, let's see what this really great Fender Custom Shop 1959 Stratocaster from 2025 sounds like. Going to be playing it through this late 1970s Fender Pro Reverb. So let's then move on to that part and let's then take this really fantastic 2025 Fender Custom Shop 1959 Stratocaster for a spin.